We have the backstage reaction and details on WWE re-signing Kevin Owens. Plus, AEW has signed a major ROH talent and is a SmackDown faction about to reunite in AEW. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Big shout to Fightful, who give us more details on the news that broke yesterday. That is that WWE have re-signed Kevin Owens. Now, Andrew, this was a surprise to me. I'll put my hands up and say this was a surprise.
Me too. This was definitely a surprise for me as well. I think after everything, the little teasers again, like the Mount Rushmore stuff between the Bucks and Kevin Owens as well, felt like he was ready to move on to new things. But you know, as long as he's happy, I'm happy. A happy Kevin Owens is a happy Andrew. Let's just say that.
That's the general consensus that I've seen from a lot of people online, is that if Kevin is happy and he is making all the money, then happy days. That's all it's all about, isn't it? So sources close to Fightful say that WWE made Owens an excellent offer. And the company is over the moon with the fact that he is choosing to stay with WWE. AEW sources have also been heard, and realistically, they couldn't have matched the offer that WWE made Kevin Owens. They said they did show interest, however, in signing Kevin Owens if his contract had expired. They would have certainly gone into the conversation of maybe bringing a Kevin Steen to AEW, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime now. But they, as they say, the offer that WWE made Kevin, they couldn't have matched.
Yeah, and I really hope it's also more than just money, and they have lots of nice grand plans for Kevin in the future as well. This whole stuff that's happening now with Big E and Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley, I love this version of Kevin Owens. I love a more serious Kevin Owens. I like that he's in the title picture, and I really do hope we see a dominant run as either WWE champion or Universal champion down the line, because he has been, for how long he's been there, he's been heavily underutilized, I think, in terms of championship status, like being the top guy. And that's not to say he hasn't had incredible matches in WWE, because he really has. He's had phenomenal bouts, but there's just something to a champion Kevin Owens that I think could really elevate WWE as a product and give it a nice shot in the arm that perhaps we're all kind of looking for at the same time, you know? So that's just my 2 pence anyway. But yeah, I hope this means very, very good things for Kevin Owens' future in WWE.
I predict that Kevin Owens will become WWE champion before this time next year.
Oh, I like it, Tom. I like it. Popping a pin in that.
I think that's going to be a thing. I think that there's, you know, the money's always nice, but I think he would have wanted some sort of creative assurances as well. I think he's going to be WWE champion before next year.
I like it.
Before the end. Before the end of next year. He's not winning it. He's not winning it before Christmas. Before the end of next year, he's going to be WWE champion. Let's hold our horses. Like AEW did sign, apparently, a name this week, though, in amongst all that was going on, and it's quite an interesting name from ROH, isn't it, Andrew?
It is. It's Brody King, which is incredible. You know, Malachi Black's best mate. I think, was it that they were PWG tag champions together? And, oh my lordy, if the House of Black is expanding, Brody King would be one heck of a man to get in there. Let's just say that. And, you know, I imagine that's probably where they're going to go with it as well. But those two together, AEW is not going to know what's hitting, pal. That's it.
This news was brought by Bodyslam.net's Cassidy Haynes, and the more I think about it, the more I think, as you say, like, this is perfect. Like, you know, all you have to do is see a picture of Brody King and Malachi Black together, and you go, yeah, they look like trouble, and I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Some major movie news. You will have no doubt rushed to the screen to check out a highly anticipated feature presentation. One that is star-studded and promises to open up a world of future movie possibility. That's right. WWE Rumble is finally out.
Yay! That's what we all wanted. It's what we all wanted. We've been waiting for so long.
All we were talking about in this bit. So this was the movie that was meant to come out in the summer of last year, and then the world caught fire. So it didn't. It got moved again, and then it got moved again, and now, as opposed to getting a big screen release, it is streaming on Paramount Plus. This is a bit of a step down from what they were hoping, but if you're not familiar with WWE's Studios movie Rumble, here's the plot. In a world. The press release starts with in a world. It's always good. In a world where monster wrestling is a global sport and monsters are superstar athletes, Rumble's teenager Winnie seeks to follow in her father's footsteps by coaching a lovable underdog monster into a champion. Based on the graphic novel Monster on the Hill by Rob Harrell, and based on the storyline going into WrestleMania 30 by WWE. Trust WWE to run a whole film where all they do is just book big men.
Mental, right? Do you know what?
Brand.
The animation in this one, I watched the trailer a little while ago. The animation in it is sublime. What I did notice, however, right, and this kind of dates the film a little bit. Well, not too much, I guess, because it only recently changed. But they have on the strips that they have kind of like around the arena, where like people sit on the stalls high up and on the strips. They've got like old NXT logos just like going along on the strips and stuff. So it kind of dates it a little bit. I think this was supposed to be coming out for a while, but yeah. It looks really good, and it reminds me of Monsters Inc. a little bit. The tone of it reminds me of Monsters Inc., and that's one of my favorite films ever. So I'm probably going to watch this. I'm looking forward to it. It's
Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch starring in this one as well, in a WWE version of Monsters Inc. Presumably one where Mike Wazowski gets told, "Creative's got nothing for you, pal." WWE Faction Finale, more WWE Faction news that we're going to end on. So Serena Deeb was a guest on the Wrestling Inc. Daily. She spoke about CM Punk. And of course, when Serena Deeb and CM Punk are in the same conversation, your mind turns to that of the Straight Edge Society. So of course, that came up in conversation. Serena Deeb said to Wrestling Inc. About CM Punk being on the AEW roster, "I love it. I totally love it. We have a great relationship. We obviously go back a long way, and we did some really cool business together over the years. I constantly get tagged on social media, and people still love the Straight Edge Society. And it was over a decade ago. It's crazy. We talk every week, and everything is great. And yeah, we might see a reunion one day."
Ooh, I would not mind that in the slightest. That was one of the coolest. When I dropped off wrestling for quite some time, CM Punk was one of those ones that got me back into it and everything. And the Straight Edge Society stuff, it felt so real. Obviously, where they pull Serena Deeb out of the crowd, who wants to get the head shaved. She comes in, they shave her head. That whole stuff was so good. The storyline they had with the Mysterios and everything as well. Like, a heel Punk with a faction, that is tasty to me, Tom. That is very tasty. And Serena Deeb is so good in the ring. And now she can do, because in WWE, she didn't really do much at all, did she, in the Straight Edge Society stuff? Now, with her as a wrestler in that faction too,
Luke Gallows isn't far away either.
He isn't, that's the thing as well. Ooh. Who else could you get in there, do you reckon?
In the Straight Edge Society? You could use it as a launch pad for somebody else that's sort of on the periphery that you wanted to push up.
Yeah.
I don't think Tony. I think my brain went Tony Nese, but I don't know whether Tony Nese he's too clean cut, and I think you need somebody a little bit more rough around the edges. Maybe you clean up the Briscoes and put them in.
Imagine
suits.
if they get the Butcher in and just shave him just completely,
completely
bald.
Bless him. He looked like a dry eraser. God bless the Butcher.
He's a good boy. I love the Butch.
Every time I cry when you shave your head. Anyway, more news as we get it throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Keys!
Love you. Bye.